Hiya, my name is Karina. This is my first video that I'm making and I want to dedicate it to AHIMSA products, specifically AHIMSA milk. I want to compare the AHIMSA milk with the regular industrial milk that people can get from the local superstores or dairy farms, and I want to do that because I want to bring awareness to the difference that those two types of milk have, the difference that it makes on us humans, and the difference that it brings to the animals as well. But before I get into details, I think I should introduce myself because probably none of you know me, so... Yes, hi, my name is Karina. I'm 24 years old. I'm currently living a vegan or plant-based diet. And the reason for that was, all my whole childhood I was a meat eater. And then about 7 or 8 years ago, I became a vegetarian. And honestly, I thought I was doing the best thing that I possibly could for the animals. But then about a few years ago, it's about a year and a half or 2 years ago, a lot more information started to come to me in terms of veganism and, you know, what the dairy industry is like, because I was buying cheese, I was buying yogurts at that time. So I started to learn more about the dairy industry. And there was a time, I remember very well, there was one day when I decided that's it. I need to go vegan because yes, I was a vegetarian, yes, I was buying dairy products, but after learning more about it, I felt like the biggest hypocrite on earth because I was supporting that kind of industry. So I said, no, that's it. I went cold turkey on it. I stopped buying all dairy products altogether, and I felt great ever since, emotionally and physically as well. And now I just don't look back at it because it just made sense, you know, it just made sense. But AHIMSA in terms of products came across to me when I started being a vegan, because I thought surely there must be some sort of other option around it, because not all dairy farms must be so violent and abusive. So I started to do my research, and my research was based in London because that's where I live. And I came across a farm called AHIMSA farm. And I was so excited to know that such farm exists, especially following AHIMSA principles, and where cows know no suffering, no abuse, and they live a long, healthy and happy life. It's just amazing. So I messaged the farm because I wanted to go and visit the cows and see the whole process myself and maybe help them out sometimes. But back then I couldn't really do it because it really wasn't an option for me because of how far it was. So they said, there's a sister farm we have, and it's called the New Gokul farm at the back to Vedanta Manor, which is actually in London. So I looked it up, I researched it a little bit, I went there to visit a couple of times, but oh my god, one day something clicked in my head and I was like, that's it, I need to go and volunteer. And fast forward the story, I now go there every Saturday, of course apart from this lockdown. But we have our own little group on a Saturday and we have so much fun, we have such an amazing time. To me personally, it's one of the best days of the week for me right now because of what I do. But also we learn so much about the animals themselves, and also the amount of love and respect I witness literally every week that is given to those animals. It's absolutely amazing. So I definitely recommend for people to come and visit and witness their amount of compassion that people have for those animals. It's just incredible. And also at the end of this video, I want to share my opinion on whether vegans can actually consume dairy products or not. So now let's roll into the video and talk more about AHIMSA, what it is, and the difference between those two types of milk. So what is AHIMSA? AHIMSA is a Sanskrit word which literally translates to non-violence. A meaning none and HIMSA meaning violence. But it means more than that. AHIMSA means an entire abstinence from causing any pain or suffering to another living being. It also means to not generate any negative effect onto our own lives and to the lives of others. I think in our lives now it's difficult, if not impossible, to live without causing any harm to another living being, but it doesn't justify us avoiding our responsibility of minimizing those risks. AHIMSA is also about developing mental attitude towards love instead of hate, love and respect, and when we deeply love and respect another, we naturally don't want to cause them any harm or any suffering. But when we talk about it in terms of products, that means staying away from meat, fish, eggs, and dairy products that come from an abusive and violent environment. AHIMSA is also being aware and conscious of where products like food and clothes come from. It's not just about animals, it's also about chemicals, non-ethical farming, animal testing, exploited labor. So it's not just about the products we consume or ingredients we consume, but also being aware of how they've been made. I want to back this up with some quotes and sayings from spiritual scriptures like Vedas. And if you're having an alarm in your head ringing already thinking it's a religion, it's not. Vedas is science, or Vedas is knowledge about how the universe and how the world works. I will pop on a screen somewhere what Vedas are in more detail. I'll be reading off the computer because I don't want to mislead anyone. So I'll be reading directly from here not to change anything. So different scriptures talk of ahimsa as a fundamental way of being or having as part of our personal behavior. For example, Buddhism has a golden rule that says treat others like you want to be treated yourself. This one will be coming from Mahabharata, which is a Sanskrit epic which talks generally about philosophical and devotional material. It says that one should never do that to another which one regards as injurious to one's own self. This in brief is the rule of Dharma, and ahimsa is the highest Dharma. What Dharma is, I'm going to pop it somewhere on the screen as well, but generally Dharma relates to the concept of duty or to the right way of living. The next one is from Samavedas, and they say that ahimsa is part of 5 essential virtues, and those who practice ahimsa said to escape from cycle of reincarnation. I definitely believe in reincarnation myself, but by all means I believe in everything what I'm reading because that's what I practice in my own life, or try at least. But you don't have to believe in everything, or you don't have to agree with everything, because sometimes people believe in Buddhism or reincarnation separately, and that's fine. That's just an information to be put out there. Next is Bhagavad Gita, which mentions that ahimsa is part of transcendental qualities. And also, ahimsa is in the list of things that Lord Krishna declares to be knowledge. Arthashastra say that ahimsa is a duty for all 4 classes of society. And then Srimad Bhagavatam prohibits violence against innocent animals. Srimad Bhagavatam also says that non-violence, truthfulness, honesty, desire for the happiness and welfare of all others, and freedom from lust, anger and greed constitute duties of all members of society. And that we should be understanding the difference between the body and the soul. I definitely agree with that. And for a moment, let's just put spirituality aside and think of it as if you're talking to your friend. And imagine your friend says to you, like, hey mate, like, it's so good to be free from anger, or it's so good to be, wishing happiness for other people. I personally think that all of those qualities that I've mentioned are just a normal thing to be desiring, or a normal thing to be aiming for as a human being, because we're here to evolve, we're here to become a better person than we were yesterday or a few days ago. And that's why I think it's definitely doesn't matter whether you believe in spirituality or religion again, or as long as we all aim to improve ourselves and try to be a decent human being, I think that's all that matters. Anyway, I'll be now talking in more details on the impact that those 2 types of milk have on us, but for me to do that I need to give you a bit more information in terms of our subtle body that we have and how does it all relate together. So this section here I'll be reading again, but I'll be taking it from a Russian lecture from Oleg Gennadievich Tursunov, who is an Ayurvedic doctor. He is a psychologist, astrologist and a Russian devotee, and just a very, very inspiring man. So this lecture of his talks about the structure of a subtle body of a human, which then separates into 3 different parts, and one of them is manas, which means subtle body of a mind. The subtle body of a mind feeds onto the good energy or happiness or sattva energy. Somewhere on the screen I will pop what sattva is as well. So our entire system, our organs feed onto that sattva energy. But when the energy is not around and the organs can't feed to happiness, disbalances can occur and different illnesses or sicknesses can manifest themselves. Another thing that he talks about in his lecture is about 5 different organs that we have. Of course, our eyes, our ears, our nose, tongue and skin. However, the subtle body that we have doesn't have those organs, those physical organs, but it has the senses. So the senses to taste, to smell, to feel, to hear and to see. And in this video specifically, I'll be talking about the sense of taste. So the sense of taste connects to the mental energy of a human. And manas, as we said, is the subtle body of our mind. So the sense of taste actually connects to the subtle body of our mind, and that's how they work together. So what does it mean? It means when we consume products or food that's healthy, that tastes nice, something that we enjoy and we like, and again has that positive vibration around it, then we get the strength from it. The same goes to other food that don't give us energy, that actually take it away from us. So again, from the physical point of view, if we carry on consuming junk food, sugar, they're all the unhealthy foods, yeah, you might get energy not to be hungry and like go around and do your things, but on the long term, that's not going to give you strength, that's going to weaken your body, that's going to compromise your immune system, and again, illnesses or diseases can come and manifest themselves. But that's in the physical. If we look at it from an energetic or spiritual point of view, each type of food has its own vibrations around it. And each vibration, again, will give you an energy, good or negative energy. So when we consume food that's high in good vibrations, we get strength from that on the mental level, on the energetic level, and also on the physical level. And the same, as I said before, goes to the negatively charged food as well, because that will just take away our energy. Now you're probably asking, how is this all related to milk at all? Well, I'll be showing you some footages from the dairy farms. And nothing too aggressive, nothing too violent, because I want everybody to be able to watch this and to make up their own decision whether they want to carry on supporting this kind of industry. Now that we know that we have a subtle or energetic body and it feeds onto what we allow it to feed on, and that's what makes us who we are, I think let's look into the comparison between the two types of milk. And as I said, I'll be showing you some footages so you can make your own decision about it. So that's the milk that you're having from a cow that carried her own child in hope that it will be hers, but then that baby is taken away from her. From a cow that has no rights, she's getting mistreated physically and emotionally, seeing her friends getting killed, being raped, staying a slave for the milk production, and at the end of the day, getting sent to a slaughterhouse. Imagine if that happened to somebody you know, literally daily. the emotions that you would go through, it's like a horror movie. You probably can't even be described. And that's the price they pay for us to have some dairy product. And in terms of prices, the milk doesn't even reach £1 sometimes. But on the other side, it costs somebody their life. So it's a very sad, it's a very scary industry. But when you compare that milk to milk that comes from an AHIMSA farm, where cows know no suffering, no fear, no abuse, no rape, the babies are staying with them until it's needed, they're not fed any antibiotics or hormones or any other drugs, and they can live up to 20 to 25 years of age, whereas at the dairy farm they get killed at about 5 or 7 years of age. So in terms of our energetic body, when we consume milk that comes from an industry like that, we feed on to exactly the same emotions that the cow went through. Yes, we might not see it today, we might not see it tomorrow, but as I've spoken before, on the long term, negatively charged food will take away our strength, will take away our power, and disbalances will start to occur because the organs are not feeding onto the sattva energy food. And different sicknesses can come and occur and manifest themselves onto different parts of our body. So if you're a vegetarian or somebody who wants to carry on eating dairy, I hope this video made you a little bit more inspired or a little bit more motivated in terms of understanding, and stop supporting cruel industry like the dairy industries. Start supporting their AHIMSA farms and start promoting and building the understanding of AHIMSA principles in society. So it's more beneficial for us, for our own soul, but also beneficial and life-changing for those animals. Let's start showing compassion and respect to others, to other beings, doesn't matter whether it's human or an animal, and say thank you for the products that they actually give us. I want to read this quote from Cows in the Earth by Rancho Prime. It's a book like that. I definitely recommend it, of course. The quote goes as following: "The act of feeding ourselves is not something we can do alone. We must do it in collaboration with nature." And I completely agree with it, because I think as humans we're forgetting that the Mother Nature is the power of all. And we need to realize that we're not almighty, that we wouldn't be anywhere without the Mother Nature. We wouldn't have the products that we have, and we wouldn't have the foods that we're having. We wouldn't have the beauty around us. We wouldn't have those amazing animals and the help when we need it. So let's try and appreciate and be thankful a little bit more every day to the Mother Nature, to the earth, and be more appreciative of what we have. Let's just try and put ourselves in the shoes of a cow and see and just try to understand what the cow has to go through in a daily life just for a human to get some dairy products from her. The rights of these animals have been taken away from them. They cannot stand up for themselves because they have no voice. But we're here to be their voice. We're here to stand for them and to stand with them. I just think it's very important as humans to be appreciative and thankful for what we have, to lead as an example, but also to be respectful to the mother cow that gives so much to us but gets nothing in return. And at the end of the day, her life gets sacrificed. So let's be their voice and help them as much as we can. So I promise to share my opinion whether vegans can actually consume dairy products or not. And just to let everybody know, this is my opinion and my opinion only. I had a lot of questions about it, and I went through my life questioning those things and then also finding answers to those things by my own experience. And this is why I'm only sharing it on my behalf. So feel free to have your own opinion on this. Now that we know AHIMSA means no violence towards other beings, veganism actually translates to the same thing. Yes, veganism meaning not eating or consuming any animal products at all, but veganism also stands for not causing any harm or pain to another living being. So AHIMSA and veganism actually have the same views. It's just that veganism takes it a bit further and actually restricts any animal products at all, for the benefit of the animals, which I highly respect. But I feel like if a vegan knows the farm where the dairy products come from, if they know it's 100% safe and it's trusted and animals are living a happy life and there is no suffering involved, they can definitely try it if they want to. By all means, although AHIMSA milk is available, it doesn't mean we have to take advantage of it or abuse it. To this day I'm still vegan. Although I know AHIMSA products exist, it doesn't mean I go crazy and buy those products at all. I've only tried them once from the AHIMSA farm. Yes, they were incredible, they were amazing, but it doesn't mean I have that in my house. And if I ever wanted to go back to the products, I know where to go, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna have it in regular consumption at all. Because to me, dairy product is a luxury product and a luxury only. And I don't believe for it to be consumed on a daily basis. And maybe in the future I'll make a video about it and explain why that is. I know this was a long, you might say controversial topic to talk about, but I'm glad I did it because it's all about bringing awareness and making people aware of what's actually going on and taking some action, taking responsibility for our action and helping others, being selfless. But for now, this is my opinion, and thank you so much for watching. I hope this video got you a little bit more motivated to do the right thing.